Okay, is that off?
It's on now.
Okay. All right, we are back. We do want to mention a couple of sponsors today. We have for all your real estate and lending needs, we have, let me see here, let me pull this up, the Michael Group. Call them, 214-566-1530. If you need to buy a home, sell a home, or get a loan, call 214-566-1530. We also have
Verge 379, Ladies Female Apparel, is our sponsor this week. A good friend of mine does women's t-shirts and designer clothes, so give her a call. The number is 214-680-6746.
Alrighty, and as always, some of the music for this and all episodes may be provided by Red Morning Light. You can check out their stuff at
Red Morning Light 1234.com, our website.
All right. Does Red Morning Light have anything coming up?
We're doing a Halloween party in Arlington. Details are coming, but it's at a club called Max, and we did it last year. We had a ball. Actually, if you want, you can see some of the pictures from last year online. You might not recognize me. The dress was a little tight, so I'll just let you know that much. Okay.
Well, I hope that is conflicting with a World Series game.
Yes, that would be the ultimate.
Which music won't start till the game's over, don't worry. So, all right, so we really don't have a lot to complain about as Ranger fans. Everything is really falling into place. The 5-game series is just so odd. I mean, we feel like, wow, we really pretty much dominated. We wrapped it up early. We got to sit back and watch. And, you know, that's the difference between a series being over in 4 or 5. It's just one game different. But because of our scheduling, you know, we went first because, you know, you got to have the Yankees in the national spotlight.
Oh, sure.
You know, so.
Will they be in the national spotlight here on out?
Possibly next year,
okay,
yes.
Possibly next year,
yeah. But we get to enjoy 2 delicious Game 5s today.
Yes.
You know, like I said, my hope for Game 5 last night was that it went 27 innings, and they used all the pitchers on each team, and then had to throw some position players. But you know, we're gonna get a Detroit team that you know, by all accounts is going to be ready to go and ready to roll with their ace in Game 1. So, you know, it's going to be mano a mano. It's going to be 2 heavyweights clashing. And you know what? If the national media doesn't like the fact that New York and Boston aren't in it, then they can bite me. You know what? You can go huddle down up there in the Northeast in New York and cry to yourselves, because we don't care. Middle America has some good baseball going on, and the 2 best teams in the American League are alive and well.
Exactly, and they continue on down that road looking for the World Series championship. You know, what else can you say? Boston had the biggest collapse in baseball history, and as far as I'm concerned, the Yankees, as the headline in the Detroit Free Press was, once again the Yankees didn't get what they paid for.
Yes.
You know,
and for that matter, neither did Boston. I mean,
right.
you got to think about the payrolls these guys are carrying.
$200 million.
I mean, what is there to add to that? I mean, you can start paying guys $15-17 million to sit on the bench, but you know, does it ever end? I mean, for the Yankees, it didn't for a lot of years, but you know, no matter what they've tried, it's not getting it done now. And you know, you got to admire not only the team that the Rangers have assembled, but the manner in which they've done so economically. And you know, I was hearing something the other day that our farm system and our minor leagues are still incredibly highly valued around the league. So you know, we have the arsenal to make trades. We still have a little bit of payroll flexibility. You know, some of these guys are coming up for arbitration, but really not the bulk of them not next year, but the year after.
Right.
And you know, I don't worry at all about that. I let it play itself out. Who has success? Who has injuries? What does the landscape look like in a year or two? Will all take care of itself. Now's the time for some people to step up, a pitcher, a hitter like Beltre did, and capture a magical moment, transcend the ages of baseball, and put a performance on the field that the whole baseball world will be talking about for a long time to come. I would like to see, like I wrote, I'd like to see one of our pitchers take that next step. You know, while I'm saying that, maybe Colby Lewis is going, look at me, look at me. You know, his record is similar to Cliff Lee's playoff record at the same point. You know, maybe not quite as dominating statistically. However, not that far away. It's just not flashy, right?
Right. And you know, and I almost have to believe that Cliff Lee is on the downside of his playoff, you know, immortality, you know, so to speak. I think he's on the downside. I mean, he lost the other day, didn't look good. He didn't do wonders for the Rangers last year. You know, maybe he's not. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't spend all that money on him.
Well,
and maybe we could pop up a Lewis, or even I still have a lot of hope in C.J. Wilson.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Holland.
Holland.
I mean, like I wrote, those guys. The average age is like 26. I mean, we're in fantastic shape.
Well, add Harrison and Feldman too.
Yeah.
You know, Feldman 2 years ago was a 17-game winner.
Yeah.
You know, for the Rangers.
Well, and Harrison, yeah, absolutely.
Harrison,
I mean, there were years where any one of those guys would have been our unquestioned ace, which means
with the drop off afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Of huge proportions.
Sign up outside the ballpark. So the city has backed the Rangers this year, and one thing I wanted to mention is, we set a regular season attendance record this year.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of times you're not supposed to say we when you're talking about the team, you know, if you don't work for them. Well, I'm talking about we, the fans, set a record this year for attending Rangers games. And I got to give it up for our fans, because there were how many days in a row where it was over 100 degrees?
Yes.
There were
70. Yeah.
Now, 45 of those, it was over 105. This isn't like Minneapolis, where it's pretty much nice and cool every night when the sun sets. This isn't like a dome stadium.
Or Tampa.
These are fans coming out. Yeah, Tampa. You know, a playoff. Well, it was an improbable playoff run at the end, but you know, it's not a comfortable climate-controlled dome stadium. We came out and suffered the heat and supported this team. And the city's going to be alive for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I hope beyond. So, having said that, let's get our predictions in. Okay. What's your prediction for this series?
Well, I see a short series. I really do see a short series. I think, you know, I think we have benefited from a lot of experience from last season. I think we have a better team than we had last year. And the reason why I say a short series is because I think Detroit doesn't have the confidence to move forward. Yeah, they beat the Yankees, but I don't think they beat a real good Yankee team.
Right.
Okay? And I think that to them, I think that was their World Series almost. And I think that there's some things they got to go through until they can get to the Ranger level.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say the Rangers in 5 or 6. You know, I think Verlander does his thing, but I think the Rangers in everything else.
Okay. Yeah, and I wrote that it's going to be Rangers in 5. I think that our bats are going to be consistent throughout the lineup. I think we get caught up as fans, but I think if you look at our lineup objectively, it's ridiculously scary. We have the relief now. Our bullpen's better. We still have a solid closer. Our starting pitching is more balanced than ever. Our defense is fantastic. Our health is almost impeccable. I mean, we're as healthy, and I think we're going to take the next step. These guys have their playoff jitters behind them from last year. We've been to the World Series, so it's not uncharted territory.
Right.
And I want to believe what I'm seeing and say Rangers in 5. That sounds like a homer call, but if you were on the outside looking in, I don't think you would say that's a ridiculous statement. Now, Detroit does have Verlander, and we do have the record of futility against them. And Detroit also will be well managed by Jim Leyland.
Sure.
Not that the Rangers won't. You never know what decision might come out of that dugout from Ron Washington.
You know, the guy likes to pull the string every once in a while, tickle a little here, tickle a little there. But you know, the bottom line is these guys are a much better team than they were last year. A lot of the questions that we had last year have been answered. Pitching staff question, who's playing center field question. You know, I just like the team we put out on the field, and you know, we've got 3 great lefties and a righty going for us, and I'm excited.
I'm confident. Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears here a little and touch on the NBA labor situation.
Sure.
They seem to be getting a little bit scared that they're getting into waters where, hey, we're going to lose some or all of the season. My surprising, let me put it this way. I am kind of surprised by the general mood I read in the country of, so what? Am I overreacting? Am I just, is that because that's the way I feel? We got hockey starting, playoff baseball going on. We're in the middle of NFL, and the NBA, can't get its stuff together. You have players going overseas now. Everyone said, the owners really have a strong case in the NBA versus the NFL, and that they really are losing money, and they really do need to restructure the whole economic system. However, are they willing to play hardball to the tune of missing a year or two, letting some players dissipate, go overseas, some careers come to a premature end, and kind of start from scratch? Or are they going to get scared that we've got to pull something together? And because like we said,
are you saying the owners? You're saying?
Yeah, like we said, that this is not your dad's NBA. These people can go overseas now and not get paid a little, but get paid equally or more. So,
well, I was like blown away. I was looking at ESPN, and Kobe's working on a 3-year deal to play in Italy. Whoa! This isn't like we're gonna play until we come back to the NBA and do our thing. It's it's a 3-year deal he's talking about. And I know your buddy Tony Parker's over there playing. We got a Dirk
for a little under $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Or what was it?
Yeah.
Was that it? Yeah.
Something like that. It's like, whoa, I don't know if that's leverage. I don't know if that's gamesmanship. I don't know what the deal is. But if my investment is playing somewhere else, chance of injury, chance of a lot of things could happen. I don't know. If I'm the owner, I'm thinking I better come to some kind of conclusion here. Although I don't see it happening.
Yeah, because
I don't see it happening.
The owners, they own those contracts for now, but what they really own is the laundry and the right to put that on whoever's back they want to pay.
Right.
Scab. Well, yeah. What's weird is, what's strange is, okay, you've got these players that I'm not so sure the NBA is the big game in town, is the show anymore.
No.
They can go out to a charity game and you can see 9 dunks on SportsCenter.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the money, they've got the exposure, they've got the fame and the celebrity. Especially these guys that have won a title or been to the playoffs, or even a lot of guys that come up that I question whether they really care about that.
Mm-hmm.
They want the money, they want the exposure, the fame, the celebrity. They can get that without necessarily having to use the NBA now.
Exactly right. The NBA's downfall is all of the foreign athletes that have come over to play here. Now we're just sending them. We're just going back and playing over there. The game is the game. We're not looking at WNBA. Right. We're looking at we say the greatest basketball players play in the NBA. Yeah. And a few of them play other places too. And if our players go over there, then that could be the biggest.
That's true.
If I'm in Europe, if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm thinking just that way. I'm thinking, how do I take a look at all of the NBA players, put together a league, international league, okay, and fill it with NBA players and some of the best European players. How do I break out of the NBA mindset and actually bring that game overseas to the U.S. tape delayed? and but if I'm a billionaire, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how do I do that, because that breaks the NBA. That breaks the NBA. Now, no other sport can that happen in, because what happens in football? Where are they going to go play? USFL? Hell, they're going to do that. Where are they going to play Canada? No, that's not going to happen there. But basketball, because there's only 5 guys on a team that really matter, the ones that are on the floor.
You're absolutely right.
And same thing with hockey. Where are they going to go? Hockey might have a chance because there's a lot of good players overseas that come over here and play.
But the NHL is already an international league.
Sure, it is,
because there's already franchise in Canada, and there could be more if they are economically viable.
Exactly.
When they haven't been is when they've come here, and you get Tampa Bay having a franchise as opposed to a city in Canada. So, but you're absolutely right. On that note, we are running short on time today. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week for another broadcast. Please check out our work, DallasSportsandMore.com online. Until next time, the truth in black and white. We will see you later.